Hi, everybody. I think it said that there were 4 people here. So, hi, you 4. It's me, Steve. Hi, Internet. I got to start that way, don't I? Um, I'm also. Oh, there's a notification that someone just went live. Wacky. I'm also trying to go live on TikTok. So, give me a second. I have no idea how to do this. Um, how do you do it? Oh, hey, look. You just swipe over to say live. Perfect. Okay. Uh, how's everybody doing? I can't see you. It's just me talking into a screen. But there's hey, hi Bitmap, and hi Kristen. Thanks for believing in me. I appreciate it. Let's see. Uh, oh no, I'm not filling Mistborn metal vials. That's a lie. Hold on. Last time I went live, I was filling Mistborn metal vials, but I'm not filling Mistborn metal vials anymore. How do I edit that? I don't know how to edit it. I don't know what's going on. Hi Freddy. Which Freddy? I know. Okay, I know like one Freddy. Hi, Freddie. If you're the Freddie I'm thinking of, hi, Freddie. It's been a minute. Um, hi, other internet. There's no one on here. Oh, there's someone on here. Hey, hi, everybody. It's me, Steve. Um, I'm. I am mostly doing this because I have this box that I want to open, and from everything that I've heard about the contents of this box, it's like not worth it to make a video about because I'm probably just going to send it back and get a replacement anyway. Um, So yeah, I will. We're just gonna open up this box, and then we can talk about Cosmere because I like the Cosmere, and I know lots of things, and I enjoy talking about it. Uh, but first off, the main reason why is this box. Uh, this is the White Sand Omnibus, which was produced by Dynamite Comics. And it's been a train wreck the entire production. It's been really, really, really atrocious. Uh, like huge delays, and then when they actually did send some out, like they got some produced, uh, and sent some out, but they gave all of their staff ones first, and like which doesn't sound bad. Hi Adam, uh, and then like some of the people that were expecting to get some didn't, but so they reached out to Dynamite, and then like employees sent their personal copies when no one else had gotten any. And then when people did finally get the actual like slipcover, this is the deluxe version. uh when people finally did get them, there was just a ton of really bad manufacturing, like pages not fully cut, like printing just errors all over the place. And so yeah, this is probably going to be disappointing, and I am fully prepared to be entirely disappointed. um so we're going to open this up, and then after we're done with that, we'll just talk about the Cosmere. We'll hang out. So yeah, there's 2 versions of this. Well, 3 technically. They did just a like soft cover version of the omnibus, which has been solid from what I hear, and they did another not premium version of the hardcover of the White Sand omnibus, which again hasn't been terrible. I think there were some printing errors with that, but it wasn't like bad. But this slipcase version, the deluxe, the like fanciest version that they were selling, has been really atrocious. So let's find out how disappointing this gets to be. Uh, we've got packing peanuts, and okay, it's very well packaged. I'll give them that. So padded bubble envelope in a box filled with packing peanuts. This this ain't gonna get dinged at all. I'm just gonna drop that behind on the ground. Okay. Oh, I didn't check. Everyone can hear me and stuff, right? We're good. I don't have to un like we're good. Y'all can hear me. Cool. Thanks, Bitmap. Um, so yeah, here we go. Let's give this a shot. Like, really, I'm fully prepared to be woefully disappointed. Uh, oh, ooh, is mine not? Hey! So a lot of people were complaining that the signature plates that were getting put into the box, into the books, were like glued onto the paper backing, and mine is not. It can move around, so that's good. I can actually like stick this in the book. I'm not gonna glue it in, but I can just have it in the book, which is cool. Not glued on, so I got one of the few apparently that wasn't glued on. And here is the book. Like, all told, it looks actually pretty nice. I'm not seeing any glitter in the shrink wrap itself, so maybe I got a good version. Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. Yeah, no loose glitter, which is positive. There's a little bit. You can see a few sparkles. I'm also doing this on YouTube, TikTok. So hi, if you want, you can be on YouTube as well. There's a few sparkles out of place. Here, I'll show you guys. Got my computer and then my phone. Let's slide it out. No loose glitter dropping out, but there is not a significant amount, but there is definitely loose glitter on here. I might, I don't know. Oh, nope, I'm totally sending it back. What's going on here? There's like a giant line in the middle of Kenton. And then we've got some wear where the glitter wasn't fully adhered there. And if they're having people send them back, I'll probably send mine back. Because, yeah, I want it to be good, you know? Otherwise, everything I've heard about the comic itself has been really positive. Is it a shoulder strap? Does Kenton have a shoulder strap in this? I looked at the front of it, like the digital version, and I don't remember seeing a shoulder strap. It might just be a shoulder strap. I'll double check. If it is just a shoulder strap, maybe I won't send it back. But also, looking even closer at this, yeah, we've got glitter coming off in places. We'll see. We'll see. But as for the comic itself, let me just brag a little bit. So here is White Sand, not omnibus. I've got a paperback of White Sand 1 and then hardbacks of 2 and 3. But my, I guess, kind of claim to fame is White Sand number 2. I have signed by Brandon number 3. It's pretty great. That's like that's the lowest number of anything that I have. I have number 3 of White Sand 2. I'm pretty pleased about that. He did a signing at BYU, and I live in the same city as BYU, and I had to work at that time. So I was not able to go to the signing, but my wife was, and so she went, and there was like 3 people there, and she went and was apparently third in line for the signing and got it signed and numbered. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Let's see. Yes, he does wear a satchel. Let's see. Yeah. Look, oh gosh, I just like brushed off the back of this and then glitter went poofing up. That's not a good sign. Yeah, my wife is amazing and I really appreciated her doing that for me. But anyway, the comic itself. They have other versions of this. You can get this on the Dynamite website. I probably will return it, Eric. Just if they're having it be returnable, I might as well return it. But they have this on the Dynamite website. You can get a PDF of the entire omnibus for, I believe, $40. They, as part of the slipcase version, they gave us a like coupon code for Dynamite for 20. I might use that to just get a PDF of it. Because I've heard really good things about the comic itself. They have added some things like a legit Ars Arcanum, which I'm really excited to dig into. I haven't actually looked into this because I didn't get the PDF of it. But Ars Arcanum, and then a new prologue with yet another different artist, because there was nightmare. This whole thing for Dragonsteel was just a really difficult thing to produce. Oh, hi Brandon. Not, I mean, hi, Cola Vanders. Hi, we got people on TikTok too. Hi. Um, well, Kim, you're still waiting for your copy that was not slipcased? That's rough. Those should be well and truly out. Those should have been shipped ages ago. I would reach out to Dynamite, see if they can get that for you. But yeah, I'm really excited to actually like see the new stuff. And I hear they've made significant changes to the bits that were original. Oh wow, the added prologue is huge. That's like 46 pages of new prologue. Sweet. Yeah, I'm gonna have a good time digging into that. It looks like it is Chrysala's arrival in Dayside, with a little bit of Kenton happening. Ooh, they're like sandboarding. What is this? That looks like a party. I probably will do a video on the differences. It might take me a minute, just because my schedule for videos this year is packed. I have a lot of plans for a lot of different videos this year. Starting, what was it, the beginning of this month, I have a video every week that I will be putting out. Like we had Frugal Wizard review beginning of this month. Last week was why you should read Mistborn. This Friday, I'll have a video about the first half of the Cosmere connections of Oathbringer, and like I was working on editing it right before this started. I have like a minute and a half left to edit, maybe even less, and it is gonna be solidly 20 minutes long. And that's just the first half of Oathbringer. So yeah, there's a lot in Oathbringer. I may have gone a little overboard going for just interbook connections, things that were connected between the different Stormlight books. Um, so it's a lot longer because of that. But I was very in depth and detailed for the Oathbringer Cosmere connections. Yeah, two halves. The first half will be coming this Friday, and then the second half will be next week. If you support me on Patreon, those both will be viewable to you on Friday. I mean, the first one, the one that will be released on Friday, I will be getting out, if not tonight, at least like tomorrow morning. So that will be viewable to patrons very soon, and then publicly released on Friday. And the second half, I'll have at least a rough edit available on Friday for patrons. So if you would like to see that early, please support me on Patreon, and you will be able to. Yeah, I'm terrified for Rhythm of War. It's gonna be ages long. Uh, just because in reading it, I've actually only read through Rhythm of War once. Um, so I mean, I need to do a reread. I'm familiar with everything that's in the book anyway, but I need to do a reread anyway for my own self, and I'm planning on just doing that reread with like Google Docs open and taking copious amounts of notes while I'm reading through. Um, so that will be it'll be a faster way to do it and also a slower way, which is kind of weird. Going through like each chapter and like reading the summary on the Coppermind and then like skimming through uh, every chapter, trying to find the things that I had highlighted previously while I was reading. It took longer than I expected. Like I was originally planning on having the Oathbringer video out in like February, but research just took ages because there's a lot to go through. Um, Welcome back, Darcy. Happy your Wi-Fi is being nice to you. Hopefully, it continues to be nice. Um, and yeah, so Oathbringer took a lot longer than I expected it to. Hopefully, just doing this reread because I will be motivated to read it because it's my first reread of it. Uh, should go a little faster. That's basically what I did going through Edge Dancer. Was I just reread it and it went really well. I probably will do like a at least a 2, maybe 3-part video of Rhythm of War because there's gonna be a ton to go through. Um, yeah, it's gonna be insane. I may. What do you guys think? I'll actually take an informal poll right here. Uh, should I, for Rhythm of War specifically, limit the like Stormlight Archive connections and just focus on connections to the wider Cosmere? Because that would decrease the length of time of the videos significantly. Or should I continue to be like, oh, we met this person back here, and because they're okay. Specifically, one example in the second half of Rhythm of War. Uh, Spoilers for anyone who in Oathbringer. Sorry, spoilers for Oathbringer. If you haven't read Oathbringer, um, at one point, I will be as vague as I possibly can. So if you know, you know, but if you don't, you're fine. Uh, at one point, Adolin fights someone else with a spear. Um, and he Adolin mentions that he learned how to fight like knife versus spear from Vasher, from Zahel. But he learned that at the same time as Yakimov, which was one of the guys in the disadvantaged duel. And ironically, Yakimov got taken down in that duel by someone with a knife and a spear. So like that type of connection is a little more subtle, which I think I would continue to have in, but there are other ones that is just like this is this person and they mentioned this thing and this other like this is a reference to something that happened in Way of Kings or Word of Radiance. I might avoid that. What do you guys think? Let me read comments real quick. Yeah, they are dense with a whole lot. And yeah, Rhythm of War is going to be insane. More the better. But yeah, connections to the wider Cosmere definitely are the priority. And maybe a second series about connections between the books. Um, that might just be too much. I'm not sure if I'd be up for that. Uh, okay, well, let's split the difference. We'll go in the very middle and say I will, of course, focus on the Cosmere connections, the wider things, because there's a ton in Rhythm of War. Um, but the more subtle interbook connections, I think, are worth mentioning. Um, the more obvious ones, I will just assume that you notice, and so I won't worry about them. And if you don't notice them and you want more information, you can join my Discord. Hey, everybody should join my Discord, and you can like talk to me about those things. Uh, yeah, because I have a really awesome Discord. My Discord link, there should be one in basically every single one of my videos. In the like block of hey, subscribe, and here's all of my social medias and stuff. There's a link to my Discord in all of my videos, so you can look for that. There should be one in if I don't know what YouTube live things look like on the viewer end. So there probably is a description in the bottom of this. I believe I added one. So you can join my Discord, and we have a bunch of excellent people there. Bitmap is correct. The Discord is indeed bumping. And oh, great, there's a link. Awesome. So yeah, join my Discord, and we can talk about minor connections all the days, and the more Cosmere significant connections and the more subtle interbook connections I will include in Rhythm of War. Where did I get started on that? Oh, yes, lots of videos out. You guys are an elite exclusive group joining my live today. So I'm just going to share with you my schedule. I got this fancy desk calendar because it helps me figure things out. I recently became the social media, let's see, what's my actual title? The marketing director for a local Shakespeare company that I'm involved with. And so I've got like all of the things I want to do for Raffo and all of the things I need to do for my Shakespeare company. Uh, we just started our summer tour. Those of you who are in Utah should come and watch the shows because it's going to be a wacky, crazy good time. Um, but yeah, so we've got uh, Oathbringer Part 1 coming out on Friday, Oathbringer Part 2 next week. Then at the beginning of June, because the Year of Sanderson box in June is focused on Cell. So I'm going to have a Why You Should Read Elantris video and a Why You Should Read Emperor's Soul video coming out on the 2nd and 9th, respectively. Then hopefully an unboxing video of the Cell box at that point. On the 16th. On the 23rd, I've got a really, I'm really excited about the video we're doing on the 23rd. For those of you who are more on TikTok, but those of you who just exist on the internet anyway, may have heard of the content creator on TikTok called Sound of the Forest. Her name's Nikki. She's an autistic content creator. She's an artist, really just incredibly talented painter. And actually all of these that I have here are from Nikki. I'm real good friends with Nikki, with Sound of the Forest. And so she is going to be in a video with me on the 23rd of June, hopefully, where we're going to talk about diversity and representation in the Cosmere. And she has like a really great perspective on that. She loves Brandon Sanderson as well. So that will be a really fun and exciting video. I'm helping her get her YouTube channel like running because of all the weird things that are happening with TikTok. So yeah, that it's going to be really fun. If you enjoy a different perspective on the Stormlight Archive mostly, because that's where you have most of the representation, um, but also just wider Cosmere. Yeah, it's going to be a really good video, and I'm excited to talk with diversity and inclusion in the Cosmere with her. It'll be really great. And then the 30th of June, we will have everything we know about Secret Project 3, because I want to get that out before the actual book is released. And yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of things. Plus, for those of you who enjoy Magic the Gathering, I know there's a significant overlap of the Sanderson community with the Magic the Gathering community. I am planning on doing a video of a like Sanderson focused deck that I have built. That's yeah, it's real fun. Just everything in the deck is really just thematically and flavorful for Sanderson. Not just Stormlight, but like all of his books. I found basically something from every book, and I think it plays actually pretty well. Um, yeah, so I've got a Sanderson deck that I will be making a video on probably in July, probably July, and then we have the Lord of the Rings Magic crossover, which is going to be happening soon. And I, as an excuse to buy them, I am going to do a video about them because then it's tax deductible. So yeah, I'll be going into the other literary crossover that's happening with Magic of Lord of the Rings, which will be really fun. And I'm excited to do that. And then I just saw that the Doctor Who decks are coming out, which will be really, really fun. Yeah, there's yep. Lots of videos coming out this year. I think I've already made I've passed the number of videos that I like previously made in my existence as a content creator before this year, I believe. Already this year. And I'm not slowing down. There's a lot of content. But anyway, point is, yes, here is White Sand. Uh, I know there used to be. Um, I wonder if I can find it. I want to see the actual change that was made. Uh, if you know the original copy of White Sand 1, I believe, uh, there is the stereo that was in here. I want to see if I can find it. Anyone know specific page? I don't know. Let's see. Kenton, bring me my boombox. Where are you? Oh, wow, it's so interesting because there's so many different artists in this. It's sometimes literally just every other page is a different person. Yep. Okay, so they redid that entire section. There's no longer any boombox whatsoever, which is a little unfortunate because it was such a silly thing to be reading this Cosmere novel, and it's very not technologically advanced on Dayside, but there's just this massive like CB radio set in the back. As it was one of my favorite unintentional Easter eggs. Um, yeah, but that has been remedied. Oh wow, just sitting on my lap. Yeah, we've had a lot more wear on the glitter. Like it was just like his torso, and now we've got like almost his whole leg coming off. Yeah, I'm probably gonna return this um, and get a nicer version, one that doesn't have so many problems. Yeah, I put that back in, and there's just a puff of glitter. Yeah. The book itself, like the story, the art, everything is solid. I will likely spring for the PDF just because I like having digital copies. It's easier to do research with. Uh, but yeah, that's very disappointing. What you gonna do? Uh, ooh, yes. Doug. Everyone, say hi to Doug. Lonsuno Krogan is Doug. Is the Doug? Is my Doug? Um, who I call out at every video. He's the best. Hi, Doug. Indeed. Um, I've built it. I've through. Hey guys, let's talk about this. I don't think there's a way for me to like share my screen on YouTube, is there? Uh, doubtful. Has anyone else done lives on YouTube? This is my first time doing a live on YouTube. Um, the real Doug is the friends we made along the way, indeed. But anyway, there. Speaking of magic and Sanderson, this is definitely something I will be including in that Sanderson deck video. Um, we have officially had like our first officially unofficial or potentially unofficially official magic and Sanderson crossover. Of course, we had. Let's see, I've got a copy of it right here. Um, for those of you who are not aware, Brandon Sanderson is on a magic card. That is actually him, as painted by Steve Argyle. Uh, it's very good. I had a giveaway for one of these last year, I think. And so that like we have Brandon Sanderson on a legit magic card, which is fun. But we have the first like in-universe crossover where the artist that has done a lot of not just Stormlight like fan art, but official fan art. Um, oh, blanking on his name. Randy Vargas. Randy Vargas, who is he did the concept art for Stormlight 5. The art that shows like Zeth and Kaladin like landing in a green field, and there's like a some sort of weird like smoky thing over, and then there's like horses, and it's definitely Shinovar. That was done by Randy Vargas. So, and he's done a significant amount of other really excellent official Sanderson art. He has been an illustrator for Magic the Gathering for ages and ages, and because of that, they occasionally will do artist spotlights for the Secret Lairs, and Secret Lair is just like a special print on demand card thing. Um, like you can buy specific cards for a limited amount of time, and once those are gone, they're they're not released anymore. But they're doing a Randy Vargas Secret Lair artist spotlight right now, and he has done the art for a new version of a card called Grand Abolisher, which has the ability to make it so like your opponents can't do anything on not their turn, basically. But the art of it is 100% Stormlight. Like it's a guy. I in my brain totally visualize him as Nail. He's Nail from Stormlight. Um, but his face is sort of in shadow, but he's got like glowy Stormlight eyes, and he's got Stormlight like puffing off of his body, and he's definitely wearing shard plate, and he's got a shard blade like held behind that is really, really close to like the official version of Nail's shard blade. And it's just there's like 17 different ways that it's definitely Stormlight. And then the flavor text on the bottom, so the text on a Magic card, like here, I'm not sure how many of you play Magic, or if you don't. um no, it's hidden by Steve Argyle's signature. But that text, which like doesn't really do anything, it just gives you a little bit more fun insight into the world and this card in particular. um that the flavor text is just journey dot dot dot. Like it's definitely a reference to Journey Before Destination. There's If you go on Randy Vargas's Twitter, he's actually had discourse with a lot of people about this, and he has said that yeah, the full flavor text would be Journey Before Destination, but I couldn't do that because of like legal reasons. But if you know, you know. So it's the first like really officially unofficial Stormlight crossover in Magic, and I'm really excited. And that I had to like rework a little bit of the that Sander deck that I was working on because that needs to be in it. Um, Luckily, it was in the right color identity, so I had white in the deck, so I could just slot it in. But yeah, it's very good. I'm really excited for it. Um, yeah, it's going to be real fun. So we have a lot of content coming up this year, and I have been, let's see how to phrase this. For those of you who follow me on on like Facebook or Instagram or whatever, you saw that I interpreted for Brandon Sanderson at the UVU commencement ceremony a couple weeks ago. This one, because he was the commencement speaker for Utah Valley University, and that's where I work. That's my day job. So I interpreted that event, and it was a grand good time. Uh, but over the summer there's like not a lot of interpreting, so I have a lot of time available over the summer, which means I should be able to actually pull off doing a new video every week. um, it should be real fun. Stick around, we're going to have a good time this summer because I have a lot of content ready to be made. uh, that's another thing. If you are on the higher levels of my Patreon, you can actually have access to like the things that I'm working on right now. I have a Google Drive folder full of probably at this point like 2 dozen proto scripts that I'm working on. Um, just things for videos that will be coming out, like all of my research notes for the Oathbringer Cosmere connections for both halves, like all of uh, my initial outlines for all of my future videos that I have planned are there. And if you want to go look at them, you can if you support me on Patreon. That's fun. Also, all of my past scripts and all of my previous research notes are available for your perusal for Patreon supporters. I appreciate that happening. Support me on Patreon. I like it, and it makes it so this is actually quasi legitimate. And yeah, I can pull off doing it for longer, which is fun. Uh, it is fun to see my thought processes. That's true. A lot of like I do try to script pretty accurately. I will deviate from my scripts. I like get a tablet and like set it up right on top of the camera that I record with, and so I can read my have like a teleprompter kind of. Um, and yeah, it's uh all of I will script pretty accurately because I found that that just really simplifies my editing time. Um, rather than when I was initially starting this channel, uh, I would just try and like say things more extemporaneously, and that meant that I was having to go through like the entire thing and be like, "Oh, that snippet is good," and "Oh, here's where I finished that sentence and that thought," and it took a lot longer to just edit. I've been able to streamline my production process really significantly by spending more time beforehand doing a more fleshed out script, and all of those scripts you can see. Uh, thank you. I'm glad. I'm glad the video quality has been getting better. Yeah, it's been surprising looking back at the videos I was making initially and being like, oh, I've drastically improved, and that's good to see. Um, but yeah, so all of my like all of the scripts and everything are available. All of the previous scripts are viewable on uh, as a Patreon supporter, and underneath many of the scripts are like my initial outline and just all of my thoughts about what I'm going to be doing, and those occasionally have very excellent tidbits, fun nuggets of things that I didn't necessarily have either time to include or they just like they weren't relevant, but they're still cool information. Uh, lots of fun stuff in the scripts to my videos. So support me on Patreon, and you can see all of those, and it's a good time. Um, let's see. Yeah. Does anyone have? Oh, hey, look! Sound of the Forest is on TikTok. Hi, Nikki. If you're actually here, hi, Nikki. Uh, go away notification. Um, yeah, we're gonna do a video together next month. Yay! Nikki actually is here. Hi, Nikki. Um, yeah, Nikki did all of this art plus two more that are over here, like that one, that one, not this one because that's a print by Katie Payne. Um, but there's a white spine drawing, and oh, also let's just show off a bit of the cool things I have. I've got this white spine sculpture, which is really cool. This was made by Nikki by Sound of the Forest. Um, it's like Sculpey clay sculpture of a white spine. It's legit, and I love it, and it's magical. Uh, yeah, I have lots of fun things. I had a comment on a recent video saying like, "Oh, that room looks awesome. I want to see all of it," and I probably will do a like tour, a bookshelf tour type thing because I do have a lot of fun things. Um, the Mistborn coins. I've got all of those, which all of the rest of the Era 2 set are now on Shire Postman's website. You can actually get the rest, which are all here in their packages because I need to revamp a lot of my organization over here. Like, we just got piles of stuff. Like here's all of the broadsheets from uh, Dragonsteel Con last year, and metal vials. I'm really proud of these. I made these metal vials. This is like samples of the actual elementic metals. Uh, if you're watching on TikTok, you may have seen like the title of this live is filling Mistborn metal vials, and that's not true. That's what I did like a year ago when I was able to go live once. Filled metal vials for a for the secret Sazed last year. Um, yeah, that's what I do for secret Sazed. I do actual like allomantic metal vials. It's really good time. Um, but yeah, I've got lots of fun stuff. I probably should do it. And that would be a fairly easy video to create. Should I do it? Tell me in the comments. You want a room tour? Doug says room tour. Yeah, absolutely. These last two Kickstarters are uh, I don't have room in this room anymore. Like you can see, there's there's Sunny Pup, and then the Mistborn, whatever these are called, shelf holder stabilizer bookends, uh, Mistborn bookends, which are stunning. I just have no idea where to put them because I don't have shelf space anymore. Uh, we have 3 different bookshelves in this room, and all of them are crammed to overflowing. Um, yeah, it's plus with all of the stuff that is coming, not just for the Year of Sanderson, but for the Stormlight minis. I got all of those, so there will be a video about everything in the Stormlight minis Kickstarter, which will be really really cool. I got like the highest tier, so we're getting the fancy resin statue, and like I'm really excited. Um, but I don't know where I'm gonna put everything. Uh, a lurcher shield. Oh, that'd be cool. I one of my goals for specifically like my Patreon, if and by extension, just however successful YouTube itself is, I want to get a specific office and have like a filming space in an office somewhere, because I also do voiceover work, and having a dedicated like voiceover booth. I have a booth like in a storage room in our house, and it can be good, but also like if someone walks upstairs you can definitely hear it, and that's less than ideal. So I want to get an office that I can do voice recording and do video recording in. And if I am able to get an office, if I get like enough Patreon supporters, if I just am making enough money doing specifically content creation, uh, yeah, I'll get an office and be able to spread out more and display more things, uh, because space here is definitely limited. Um, yeah, I have piles of boxes, uh, just on the floor right here. There's the stack of all of the Year of Sanderson boxes and books. I have like all of uh, the Skyward series is just in a pile right here in front of this filing cabinet. I've got organization that needs to be done, and it's it's taken a minute. Like here's a pile of books. Here, I'll just shift. There, pile of books, like notebook. Um, Here's the like LDS Living that had the article about Sanderson. Here's a nice copy of Lord of the Rings. Here's like all of the Mistborn um, RPGs from Crafty Games, like just in a pile on here because I put them there and haven't been able to move them anywhere else. So I appreciate the bookends. That will like that's a nod toward organization, which is good. I just need to find a place to put the organized things, and that is gonna take a minute. Ah, see, Marie Kondo, indeed, but she, after having kids, has since reneged on her sparking joy theory, because you can't not have stuff when you have children, and that's also something that I've learned. Um, Admittedly, most of the stuff that is in complete disarray in this room is my stuff, but can I just say all of it sparks joy? Is that allowed? Where can you buy the Mistborn RPG books? Those are available on the Crafty Games website. I can show them off here. Yeah, they're at the bottom of the stack. Um, yeah, here they all are. There's a bunch of different editions. So this is the base version of the Mistborn RPG. It's a D6 system, so you just roll a bunch of D6s rather than D4 through D20. I have not played the Mistborn RPG, but I've read through a good amount of these books, and it sounds like a pretty excellent system. There is a podcast called The Lost Legends of Scadrial that is a really good exploration of Mistborn as a world using this system. I was on a panel at Dragonsteel Con last year with the main guy of that podcast. So if you're interested in learning how the system works, check out Lost Legends of Scadrial, and they dive into everything. It's really fun. But these books are actually the first, like, these books are what made me feel like I was succeeding as a content creator. Yeah, I think 17th Star just did a Mistborn as well, like Diceborn, I think they called it. Yeah. But these books I received. I already had this one, but all of the expansions, as I was making videos, Crafty Games reached out to me directly and was like, "Hey, you mentioned the Mistborn RPG in one of your videos. Do you have the rest of them?" And I was like, "No." Well, here, let's give you the rest of them. So I got all of these for free from Crafty Games because they like my stuff, and like as a content creator, they're like, "Here, have this for promoting our stuff." And it just made me really happy. Like, yeah, I made it. I'm getting things. This is great. But all of the expansions are really impressive. Like the base game is significant. It's robust. But they also have like Terrace, Rod of Copper. So going into how you can create and play a full feruchemist, or Ska, Tin and Ash, going into more of the like underworld of Scadrial and how that can function. And then, of course, you have the Alloy of Law expansion going into Era 2, which is really fun. And I believe in all of these, or at least in a couple of these, there is actual like more additional fiction from Sanderson. I know in like the base game, there's a short story in here that is not available anywhere else. And then the most recent expansion is Alloy of Law: Masks of the Past, going into the Malwish and adding them into the system, like adding in Chondras, and all of the art in these is just really, really incredible. Ben McSweeney does the art for these, and it's great. So yeah, these are available on the Crafty Games website. I believe it is crafty-games.com. Probably on here. No, I'm right. Yeah, crafty-games.com or mistbornrpg.com is where you can get these. And tell them I sent you. I don't think there's any way to actually do that, but yeah, if you end up getting these, great, I'll feel good. But they're really awesome. Like, it's a robust system, and it's diving into literally my favorite fantasy world. So it's real good. I also have a bunch of other, like, got a bunch of books about Shakespeare, because that's my other hyperfocus obsession. It's the other thing that I know a lot of stuff about. If anyone has questions about Shakespeare, I could talk about Shakespeare all day too. In fact, another thing to brag about. Let's see. In this book, which is a textbook, Secrets of Acting Shakespeare, this has a section about original practice Shakespeare, which means like researching and performing, or rehearsing and performing Shakespeare the way that Shakespeare's original company did. And the Shakespeare company that I am involved with is mentioned by name in this textbook, the Grassroots Shakespeare Company. So it's cool. We've got like We're in a legit academic text as an example of doing Shakespeare's way. It's a good time. Um, let's see. If I were a twinborn, what would I choose? Bitmap? That is an excellent question. Uh, However, it is a really easy question to answer because I've answered it multiple times. In fact, one of my secret Sazed gifts a couple years ago at this point, um, the that was a question in the like secret Sazed survey of what metals would you want to use, and my answer, as evidenced with this tapestry that I got from Secret Sazed, is double bronze, because then you can compound wakefulness, and not ever needing to sleep would be incredible. I I love sleep. I really enjoy getting a good nap here and there, especially after having two children. Sleep is undervalued. Sleep is wasted on the young. Um, but particularly like trying to do content creation and voice work and just research for everything, and just like having time to read or play video games or stuff, not limited by a sleep wake cycle. Yeah, that would be amazing. I would do double bronze so I could compound wakefulness and never need to sleep, because that would just, I could do so much. I could be so productive if I didn't have to sleep. And yeah, so I have this fancy tapestry. Uh, who here had, right, Michael? Yes, so much time wasted before kids, and now all of that time is focused on other things that you wish you could be wasting. It's fine. Um, who here has done Secret Sazed before? Has anyone participated in Secret Sazed? I have, obviously. Uh, for the past 4 or 5 years, been I've been doing Secret Sazed, which is, it's excellent. Um, I can show off some of the gifts here. So I got this tapestry, which is real fun. Eric, you should do it. Uh, Signups are usually in like late October, November, and it's just you send out. It's like it's Secret Santa, but with Cosmere levers. You don't necessarily have to like make something. There are options to like send bookmarks, or uh, like you can send prints. This print I actually got this last year as a Secret Sazed present from not Katie Payne. Like someone else, like they ordered this off of Katie Payne's website and had it sent to me. Like this was a Secret Sazed present. So you don't even have to be creative or be a creator or crafter in any way. You can. There are other ways to participate, uh, and there's you just get some really fun stuff. Uh, like this, I got a Mistborn deck of cards, like a custom made card deck, which is really fun. See, I'll show these up. No, I'll get like the good ones and then show them off to you. Um, all of the face cards are different characters in Mistborn. Like Jax, you have Kelsier and Kelsier and Kelsier and Kelsier, or Vin and Vin and Vin. Like, yeah, custom Mistborn playing card deck, which is just real fun. That was a gift a couple years ago. I have two different mist cloaks that I've gotten from Secret Sazed. One is a like really nice fleece one that's just has a good weight and a good like bounce to it, that happened to have been made by Nikki. Um, she happened to randomly get me for her Secret Sazed giftee, and so one day there was a knock at our door when she was like already at our house hanging out, and like, what is going on? And it was a box with a mist cloak. Um, got another mist cloak there made out of like three different layers of like types of fabric that flow and are really nice. Uh, what other things have I gotten? Anyway, yeah, it like Secret Sazed. If you haven't done it before, it's really fun. And you don't need to be a crafter. You don't need to be a maker of things. You can be a a purchaser of things or a regifter of things. If you have fun Cosmere swag, you can that you're not using, you can send that to someone who may appreciate it more. Secret Santa, but with Cosmere. It's really fun. And yeah, you don't have to. Purchasing things is not a difficult skill, and so anyone can do that. If you are able to, if you have disposable income enough to participate in Secret Sazed, it's a really fun thing to do. It's every year. I did a video interviewing the creator of the Secret Sazed movement, system, society, mm, um, last year, and so he showed off several things. Oh gosh. He showed off several things in that video of what has been gifted, like full like swords that people have made. Um, the He got the bands of mourning gifted to him. Like it's really fun, and it's cool to be able to participate in something with the larger Sanderson community in that way. It's not something that is easy to do on a day-to-day basis apart from like going to conventions and stuff, but even then that's not something that you can do every day. And yeah, he's a really cool guy. It was a fun interview. It was fun to talk with him uh, just about where Secret Sazed came from and how it's developed and grown into something that is uh, getting to the point where it's unwieldy for him because there's so many people that are loving it and participating. So everyone should participate and give him an excuse to hire some people because it's huge and it's really fun. Uh, let's see. Speaking of conventions, once again, for those of you who follow me in other social media arenas, um, yay! I convinced Bitmap. My job here is done. Uh, for those of you who follow me in other places, I have applied to be an exhibitor at Dragonsteel Con this year. Uh, I After this last one, I volunteered at Dragonsteel last year and had just a blast. It was really fun just to be like helping people go around the con and figuring out like interfacing with all of the different people, the different vendors, the different fans. Uh, Really fun to volunteer there. And if you're local, if you live in Utah, specifically like the Utah Valley, Salt Lake Valley area, uh, volunteer because it's a blast. Even if you don't live locally, but you're like going to be coming to the con, you can volunteer at the con, and it's really fun. Um, but after the con last year, I was talking with Kara Stewart, who is Isaac Stewart's wife, who is the warehouse like manager. She makes everything run. I think she's technically the CFO. Uh, CO. I think she's a CFO. Um, yeah, I was talking with Kara and was like, "Hey, Kara, I really want to have a booth this year or this coming year because like 17th Shard had a booth, obviously. The Sandersonian Institute for Cosmere Studies, another really good Cosmere centric podcast, had a booth. The Sanderson Collector had a booth, and I have more followers than Sandersonian Institute and Cosmere Sanderson Collector. And so I'm like, oh, I have I have a larger audience than either of them. I totally could have a booth, but they've both like had more connection with Dragonsteel to this point. They've like done interviews with various members of the team, which I haven't done, which I probably could. I probably should. Anyway, so I was talking with Kara after the convention last year and was like, "Hey, I want to do this. I want to have a booth. I want to support what's going on here as much as possible." And she said, "Oh, that'd be great. Talk to me in June," uh, which is when they'll be planning everything. So I have applied to be an exhibitor through that, and I hopefully will have a booth at Dragonsteel Con this coming year. So I'm working on merchandise creation for that. If anyone has any excellent ideas for merchandise, I would love to have them. I've got a list actually on this calendar. I've written down like, hey, I need to work on like shirts and stickers and uh, buttons and pins. Yeah, um, it's I want to be creating merch and have like merchandise that people can get, not just me merchandise, but like general Cosmere merchandise. It should be really fun. Uh, Bitmap, that is valid. Yeah, not being able to go this year is understandable. I think it's going to be bigger than last year just because it's getting bigger every year. Uh, but last year's it corresponds with the book release because Sanderson is now famous enough that he can determine when his releases are. Um, and so they're just doing it with a book release every year. Last year was the release of Lost Metal, and this year will be the release of the uh, fourth. Oh god, sorry, I was completely distracted by your comment here, Lee, on TikTok. I could potentially get an interview with Brandon if I'm flexible. Maybe. I know he's done interviews with other creators before. Like I know he did an interview with with Daniel Green, but also Daniel Green has literally 20 times the amount of subscribers on YouTube as I do. Um, it would be amazing to get an interview with Brandon, but I'm not convinced I'm to that level yet. We'll see. Uh, right, next year. Next year is going to be the release of Defiant, the final Cytonic book, and so there's just less of a draw. But then, or no, this year is Cytonic, and then next year is going to be Stormlight 5. So next year's Dragonsteel convention is going to be huge and insane, and I wouldn't be surprised if they use like the entirety of the Salt Palace rather than just the like north wing of the Salt Palace. Um, yeah, it's gonna be nuts in 2 years. Uh, Gonna be crazy. So if you can't come this year, totally fine. But if you can make it next year for Dragonsteel Con, it's gonna be insanity. It's gonna be amazing, and it's really well managed too. Like of all of the conventions that I've been to, Dragonsteel convention has been the like I really like this fandom. Like we're really pleasant as people for the most part, and so and Brandon's team is just absolutely incredible. So they're just really well run and very well thought out, and all of the things that occur at Dragonsteel Con, like the convention activities, the convention panels, and everything, are just really great. Um, yeah, I was on two panels last year at Dragonsteel Con. I was in I was originally asked to be part of the Lost Metal theorizing panel, which I was on with a couple other content creators, Seth, I believe, from Lost Legends of Scadrial, the Mistborn RPG podcast, and also Miranda, who is, uh, but you could be, no, Cosmere Chick. She's the Cosmere Chick on TikTok, and they're both delightful. So it was really fun to be on that panel with them. Um, but also about a week before Dragonsteel Con, I got a message on Discord from one of the main like volunteer coordinators at Dragonsteel, and they're like, "Hey, we had someone who had to drop out of a panel. They're not going to be able to make it. They're sick or something. Can you be in this panel?" And it was the um, like it wasn't Intro to the Cosmere. It was like Cosmere Advanced Cosmere Studies or something. And so like it absolutely my forte. Um, and so I subbed in a panel for uh, Eric Lake. If any of you who are familiar with the 17th Shard, he's like the main guy who runs the 17th Shard YouTube channel. Um, I found it incredibly amusing that we went from a lake to a pond in that panel because my last name is Pond, and so we're both bodies of water for that panel. It was ironic, and so I subbed in that last minute and was in two panels And then also in the Cosmere Talk panel. So all of the content creators focusing on the Cosmere and Brandon Sanderson on specifically TikTok. We had a panel that was really fun. We got everybody together. It wasn't an official Dragonsteel panel, but they had a like community events room that you could sign up to do panels in, and so I was a part of that as well, which was really fun. Um, I will likely be on a couple more panels this next year. Uh, oh yeah, no, I wasn't the first pick for that, and that panel was packed. It was insane. Like we had, it was in one of the larger panel rooms. It wasn't in the biggest one, but it was in one of the bigger ones, and every seat was filled, and there was like lines of people standing around the hall, and there were people that had to be turned away. Like it was a very popular panel, and it was just really really fun to be a part of. But no, I was not the first choice for that. Eric was, and like totally understandable. Like the 17th Shard, their organization and their production value in terms of what they're able to do. Like they run the Coppermind and they run the 17th Shard forum. They've been around for years, and yeah, that's like they are all authorities on everything Cosmere and Sanderson. So I was honored to take Eric's place because he wasn't able to come. Um, and I was really excited to do so because like, oh yes, absolutely, this would be a panel that I want to do anyway. Yeah, he was there because I can't remember if he was sick or if his wife was sick, but someone was sick and he wasn't able to come. So they contacted me and pulled me in to do that panel, which was just really fun. Um, yeah, I was really proud of that cosplay too. I'm not sure. No, I most of you probably have seen at least in a video or two of mine, my Alamancer Jack slash Wax cosplay. Uh, that mist coat is it's amazing. It's incredible. It was thrifted. I found a leather duster that uh, smelled a lot like cigarette smoke, but I was able to get most of that out. But leather duster that was went to like mid calf on me, and found other fabric, and my incredible mother, who I posted about on Sunday, which was Mother's Day, right? Sunday, helped me sew that into a legit like leather mist coat, and it's so good, and I love it. That was what I was cosplaying as for the 2 days of the con, and I'm real proud of it. Natalie, yeah, oh yes, bitmap, that handlebar mustache. Usually I'm bearded like this. My beard is a product of laziness. I don't like shaving, so I don't. Um, but for that convention, yeah, I was like, well, I have a beard anyway, and Alamancer Jack has that handlebar, so I can make it happen. And it was really good. After the convention, I was a little sad to like shave everything off, but my wife wasn't a fan of the handlebar, and so it had to go. But I during the course of the convention, I got more and more pleased with how it looked and like with what it did to my face. It was a good time. But anyway, Natalie, should you read White Sand? Um, they let's see. I don't think they have a audiobook specifically of White Sand. There's the graphic audio version of White Sand, which actually is pretty excellent. Um, White Sand is worth the read. It's definitely a it's rougher than any of Sanderson's other things. Like it was written before Elantris, and so the writing style is definitely earlier in Brandon's career. But you can read, yeah, just like Doug's saying, you can read the prose version that is accessible in, I think, like every single newsletter that Brandon sends out. There's a link to getting the prose version. It's worth the read. I would say if you're not a fan of graphic novels, but you do audio stuff, I would say look into the graphic audio. Excuse me, the graphic audio of White Sand, and the graphic audios are just really great. Anyway, um, I've listened to the entirety of Mistborn through graphic audio, and I've listened to Way of Kings and Words of Radiance in graphic audio. All of Alcatraz, I did graphic audio. Yeah, the graphic audios are solid. So they're definitely worth it. I I secretly am working on recording an audiobook version of the White Sand Prose. Um, I'm planning on just like recording in that and then sending it to Dragonsteel saying, "Hey, this is made. Do with it what you want." Because again, I'm going into voiceover stuff and like specifically audiobook production. So I'm I'm doing that as practice basically, and that may be available at some point. I don't know. But the graphic audio of White Sand is definitely a good option if you want to consume that story in an audio format. I don't think there is an extant version of the White Sand Prose that is audiobook. Um, but yeah, there's graphic audio solid. The as we've talked about here, uh, there you can get a version of the graphic novel altogether. If you don't do graphic novels, understandable. Um, but it's solid. It's a little jarring going from different artist to different artist, but the story itself is good, and this is technically the canon version. Uh, yeah, until we get a print prose version of White Sand actually published, uh, everything that happens in the graphic novel is the canon version of this story. Um, yeah, it's definitely worth the read. Some hitting stuff. There we go. Yeah, I am usually a print person. Uh, oh, ADHD Projects is either here or just online. Hi, Ammon. I was on a thing with Ammon. Anyway, uh, yeah, I don't really do graphic novels very often either. There are like a few select graphic novels that I've done um, that it's it's not a frequent thing. Sorry, I'm trying to plug in my phone. It should be getting juice. Why aren't you charging, phone? Well, TikTok, if you die, I'll miss you. There we go. Okay. Um, what was I saying? I am a print person. I don't do graphic novels very often. The few graphic novels that I have done have been like the classics, like Watchmen. I read the graphic novel for. Uh, I have a copy. I own a copy of Superman Red Sun, which is just incredible. And if you haven't read Superman Red Sun, it's amazing. Like it's a good graphic novel. But other than that, yeah, I mostly stick to the printed word. That's why I pronounce it Erytheru and Alethkar rather than I think it's supposed to be Eurytheru and Alethkar. Uh, I'm a print guy, so I pronounce things wrong sometimes. It took me a long time to convert myself to Shalon rather than Shalon. I was calling her Shalon for years in my brain. I mean, if you go back to my first YouTube videos, I was saying, "Hey, welcome to Rafo" rather than Rafo because looking at RAFO in my brain, that should be pronounced Rafo instead of Rafo, and it took me probably the better part of a year at least to be like, "Oh wait, no, it's supposed to be Rafo," and now it's in my brain and mouth. But yeah, but White Sand is good. It's a solid story. Of the unpublished books, I think uh, of all of like Sanderson's unpublished stuff, White Sand is definitely the best. I recently read Way of Kings Prime. I'm pointing at it on my shelf right there. You can't see it; it's off screen. Recently read Way of Kings Prime, which was like really weird, really interesting to compare the the proto version of the story with what it eventually became. Um, But I would still argue that White Sand is a more compelling story than Way of Kings Prime. I've also read like Mistborn Prime, which is fine. Again, it's seeing the proto version, seeing the bones of the story that eventually grew to be Mistborn. Um, and let's see what Aether of Night. Aether of Night's good. If you want to read Aether of Night, I think 17th Shard is responsible for actually handing that out. Um, and I have read Dragonsteel because that's available uh, through BYU, or at least it once was available. You could like check it out from their special collections. And so I've read Dragonsteel, uh, which is a fun thing to be able to say. But Dragonsteel will probably be coming out in as a Sanderson Curiosity fairly soon. Uh, yeah, that's right. That's right. I've read Dragonsteel. It's available. I don't think you can check it out anymore from BYU, but you can go to the BYU library. I think you might have to be a student, but you can go to the BYU library and you can like read it in a room at the library. I don't think you can take it off campus anymore, but I think you might still be able to read it there. Um, it's yeah, make the pilgrimage. I think uh check to see if it actually is possible. Like call the BYU library or something to make sure that you can actually read it. Because I know you could. Like 4 or 5 years ago, you could check it out and read it. I think you can still do so in the library itself. Still, maybe potentially. I don't know. I already read it, so I haven't checked. um, Doug, you ask, have I looked into public domain books to make into voiceovers for myself? I have. I there's a lot of like really solid public domain stuff. Actually, that's what I've done. Uh, the past couple years, I have done a like voiceover, like a storytelling video on my channel. Last year, I did a spooky story for Halloween, and 2 or 3 years ago, I did an audio reading of Christmas Carol for Christmas, which I'm really proud of both of those. Um, so yeah, I've looked into public domain stuff. Uh, Most of my issue with just recording is time at this point, um, and there there's a very significant part of me that is a perfectionist, and so I want to have things done right before I start to do them, which is not a great mindset when you're a creator. So I'm working on changing the way that my brain habitually wants to do things and just trying to really incorporate the concept that done is better than perfect in my life. Um, so at this point, yeah, I have looked into doing public domain stuff, and I probably will be doing more of that, releasing the things that I can release, because there's a lot of really high quality storytelling that is not accessible to people because it's I mean, most people just don't know about it. There's a lot of really good stuff that is public domain that people aren't aware of, and I think bringing more of that to the forefront would be valuable. Like, I've thought about doing like famous speeches from history. Like, there's a bunch of like really good Cicero speeches that would be really fun to read, or with my background and knowledge of Shakespeare, I could do Shakespeare for days. Um, but yeah, I've looked into public domain stuff and probably will dive deeper into that in the future. Oh, I'm talking for like an hour and a half straight. I need some water. If you're just joining, welcome to me drinking water. Hey, internet. I'm Steve, and this is water. Okay. Um. Yeah, I'll probably let's continue this live for about 10 more minutes. Um. Then it'll be 10 o'clock here time, and that is my bedtime because I have children that wake up really early. So yeah, let's hang out for about 10 more minutes, and then we'll call it a night. Does anyone have any other questions or any Cosmere things they want to talk about, or just other random other things they want to talk about? Anything? You two people on TikTok, or let's see, we've got eight people on YouTube. Sweet, thanks guys. Thanks for being here. Again, this mostly was just an excuse to finally open this up because I didn't want to do a video about White Sand and be like, this is disappointing. Welcome to being sad about this book that has just had a history of unfortunate happenstances. Ah. Another thing interesting about me is I burp when I talk for long periods of time. That's one thing that I've noticed in recording videos specifically. I burp a lot. I don't know why. It's strange. I don't get it. 10 minutes of Steve telling us about his favorite foods, Cosmere or not. Well, my favorite Cosmere food, because I have had this multiple times, is chowta. It's so good. Um, we've we've come up with a really simple, really easy to make recipe for chowta. It's just like Costco meatballs and then like country gravy, and you mix some other stuff in the gravy to make it yummier, and then like pita bread. Um, Chowta is quality. I haven't had really that much other specifically Cosmere food, but um, let's see. Here's Lego Shakespeare. There he is. Hi, Billy. Yeah, got him for Christmas last year. I love him. Anyway, back when the Kaladin album was originally released, I went to the release party of the album, and it was because it was local. Like I went to high school with one of the composers who worked on the Kaladin album, and so the release party was like 2 miles away from my house. Um, and it was awesome, like really fun release party. Brandon was there. That was when I believe I got my first Raffo card um, at that release party. But for that event, they actually had Stormlight food, which was really fun. They had like men's food and women's food. They had a bunch of like sweet fruits and pastas and stuff, and then really spicy. Like it was really good. Um, I can't pick out a specific thing that stands out from those foods, apart from again the shouta, because that's street food's yummy, fat and sugar and grease, and it's good stuff. Our bodies enjoy that. Like biologically, we crave those things. Uh, of course, I ate the woman's food, Bitmap. Of course, I did, because it was the men's food was so spicy, and I'm a spice wimp. I used to have a lot higher tolerance for spice, uh, but my body has decided to not know how to process spice anymore. And so if I eat something spicy, it continues to be spicy the whole way through my body, and that's less pleasant of an experience. So I've just started to habitually avoid spice. Um, yeah, it would be. Uh, yeah, so I had the women's food. Um, Tree Frog Kid storing ferrochemical speed. That is an excellent question. Um, there is an upper limit to ferrochemical storing. There's an upper limit to the functionality of compounding, just in general, diminishing returns, but also specifically with speed. If going super fast, like having the ability to go super fast, uh, doesn't inhibit the impacts of going super fast. Like there are consequences to going at certain speeds that ferrochemical speed does not remove. Specifically, wind resistance and friction. So storing any amount of speed and using that, uh, you can get going really really fast, but you also will burn up if you go that fast. That's why it would be really interesting to see a like steel compounder who is an edge dancer, because then you could completely remove the wind resistance and the like air friction from the equation. Uh, so you could get going insanely fast without actually burning up. Um, Vibrate through walls. Oh, that'd be like mm, uh, there's a word for that. Going through the empty space between atoms. Yeah, that would be wacky, wacky, crazy. Um, like the Flash, indeed. Uh, there, the physics of the Flash are not as well explained as the physics in Brandon Sanderson's world. Z. Uh, but yes, um, there are upper limits and there are natural consequences to using the magic systems in certain ways. Uh, the physics is really well thought out in all of Sanderson's magic systems. That's honestly one of the reasons why I love like allomancy and feruchemy so much, is that it's so well thought out and everything makes sense. That's why Mistborn's the best. I will not be disagreeing with anyone. Yeah, Speed Force is the explanation of the Flash. But even the writers of the Flash don't necessarily know what the Speed Force is or means, because it's so uh it's unexplained. And that's the thing that happens a bunch in comics. It's interesting. Like comics are hard magic systems, but also they're not explained hard magic systems. It's physics doesn't have to apply. I mean, just consider Iron Man's suit. Iron Man would get turned into goo in the feet of his Iron Man suit when he goes through some of the things that happen in the movies or in the comics. Like G forces would turn him into a puddle. But so the real impressive thing about Iron Man technology is the fact that he's developed some way to prevent G forces from affecting him. Yeah. And that's why I love Sanderson, is because physics still exist and there are answers for things like that. Like we have instances of Kaladin going like banking at high speeds as a windrunner, and he feels the G forces and like almost blacks out because of that. So the physics are still there, and it's something that you have to work with and you have to consider while using and applying the magic systems of the books. I think it's really great. Um, Anything else? Thanks, guys. Thank you for all being here. Appreciate it. I had a good time, and we now know what we now know why the white sand is so disappointing. Hopefully, uh, the next package I get from Dynamite will be less sad. I mean, you're fine. This wasn't much of a stream. I mean, okay, no, we had a good time. I had a good time. I talked a lot. Uh, I shared some good tidbits, interesting facts about me and life and stuff. Do I read any X-Men? I'm not much of a comic person, um, just because there's a lot of things that there's a lot of other things that I need to do with my time. Um, I have read X-Men. I I X-Men was my favorite cartoon when I was growing up on Fox. Yeah. That's it. So I am very familiar with X-Men. Uh, like I Here's an X-Men Lego. Not Lego, Mega Blocks, because that's where they made him. Here's Wolverine as a Mega Blocks. So a I have more than a layman's knowledge of X-Men. But it's not something that I actively consume really on any level. Uh, yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you for loving the Hoyd shirt. This is proof that I spent a lot of money this year. Uh, oh, happy birthday to James's brother. Happy birthday, James's brother. I'm not sure if that means anything from me, but if like you can tell him that I say happy birthday. Random stranger on the internet wishes him happy birthday. Yeah. Um, it's fun to see the Hoyd shirts in the wild. Uh, there was I interpreted a class because again, my day job is I'm a sign language interpreter. Um, this past semester, I interpreted a class where uh, a guy in that class would wear the Hoyd shirt now and again. I'm like, oh, I know what you did with your money last year. And like my brother, I saw my oldest brother at an event like last week, and he was wearing the Hoyd shirt. I'm like, hey, so it's fun to see these things in the wild. Ooh, yay! Family watching my stuff. I love it. More views. Um, happy birthday! Yeah, happy birthday to your brother, and hi to your dad. Um, anyway, yeah, thank you all for coming. It's 10 o'clock. I'm gonna get ready to go to bed because I have more editing that I need to do tomorrow on Oathbringer Part 2, which will be, again, coming next week. We will have the Oathbringer Part 1 coming this Friday. That I have like 45 seconds left of editing on that, and that will be done, and patrons will be able to see that. Uh, Maybe not later tonight because it's late, but probably tomorrow. Patrons will be able uh, to see Oathbringer Part 1, Cosmere Connections, and that will be publicly released on Friday. So if you have not subscribed or hit the little bell or whatever, all the things that you need to do for a YouTube channel, do those things, and you'll see that on Friday. The rough cut of Part 2 should be ready for patrons to view on Friday, and as much editing, as much like finessing editing as I can do on Part 2 will be done. Regardless, Part 2 will be viewable in some form on Friday. I agree with Bitmat. Please join the Discord. We have an excellent Discord. Uh, really wonderful people, lots of good discussions, and we have a good time. So join the Discord. Um, Once again, please consider supporting me on Patreon. We've got a lot of really exciting content coming this year. I will hopefully be an exhibitor at Dragonsteel Con this November, and will be creating merchandise for that. So the more Patreon supporters, the um, the easier time I'll have, the more time I can dedicate, the more resources I can dedicate to creating merchandise. And if you support me on Patreon, when I get merchandise, I will be sending out merchandise to Patreon supporters. So support me on Patreon and let's make all the good things happen. Uh, anyway, yeah, thank you for joining the stream. Uh, thanks for being here. We'll see you on Friday for the Cosmere Connections of Oathbringer Part 1, and then you all can watch and find out. Waffo. It's a thing. Anyway, thanks everybody. We'll see you on Friday. Let's see. How many buttons do I need to push? This one. Bye TikTok. This button. And live. Yep. Bye TikTok. Bye YouTube. Bye Internet. I am Steve, and that was Raffo. Bye. 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 Bye.